All right, so before we get into further details, sorry. Yeah, so I was talking about that before we discuss the tools or techniques, or we go into the further details. We need to understand the internet layers, because we, as an OSINT, and during the OSINT analysis, or as an investigative officer, or the intelligence officer, or the law enforcement agencies, you need to search the entire internet for the desired information, because the information the available, but obviously you need the right tool and a technique to reach towards the particular information, and how to collect the information, how to analyze it, so all these things. So in order to do this, you need to understand the concept of the entire internet first. So let's just discuss the basic concept. So if we talk about, if we think internet as an ocean, so this is divided as the surface web, deep web, and the dark web. And then obviously you are going darker. Okay, so surface web is what, being a standard normal internet user we see on the internet. We use a regular standard browser, for example Google Chrome or Firefox, Safari, etc., to access the internet. So this is the surface web. If I note the, or if I talk about the key point here, the surface web, if is what you can access with by using a standard browser. It is accessible. It is also indexed by the standard search engines like the Google, Bing, Yahoo, etc., and little illegal activity happening here, and it is relatively small in size. For example, you open the google.com, you search a news, you open the bbc.com, you read the news, and that's it. You don't need any special software, you don't need any special permission, you don't need to pay, you don't need to use any special protocol, or the software or the technique to access it. This is the surface web, which we, being a standard user, use or browse internet regularly. And then the things get interesting when we get into the deep web. Deep web, as they say, is the huge in size and growing exponentially. So deep web is nothing. For example, is just a concept, or you just need a password, encryption, or any other technique to access it. For example, the content on the social networking websites like Twitter and Facebook and all. So and apart from this example, I would like to quote another example. It's like the forums. So the content, the forums, the content is huge, the size is huge, but you need a permission to access it. So if I define the deep web, it is accessible by password, encryption, or through special permission or gateway software. And it is I mean, some part of deep web can be indexed by the regular search engine, but most of the content cannot be indexed by the regular search engines, and you need to get in the particular website or the service to explore it. So we can say that it is also not be able the regular or the standard search engines are not able to index it, and the little illegal activity outside of the dark web happening here, because there are some notorious forums and all these things. So we can say that the little illegal activity happening here, but it is huge in size and growing exponentially, as I discussed before. So this is really interesting, and you need to the credentials to access it. And then we have the dark web, which is the darker side of the internet. But being as an OSINT investigator, you need to access the dark web as well, and then you need to understand the tools and the techniques to analyze the information in the dark web, which is very crucial nowadays. So the dark web, restricted to special browsers, softwares, or protocols. For example, you need, if you want to access the Tor network, which is which is one of the dark web, there could be many. Because I have created a special segment on the dark net, which you should check. I'll just share the link with you. There could be many dark web which we might know, or which we might unaware of it. So the size of the dark net is unmeasurable due to its nature, which I have discussed in entire dark net series, which you should watch. So we cannot say the size, but we suppose that, or we think that it is relatively smaller than deep web at the moment, but it might be possible grow, and it will be the huge than the deep web in the future. So the regular or the standard search engines like Google, Yahoo, Bing, they cannot index it due to its nature. Obviously, it's encrypted. It's You need a special permission to get into the dark network. It is not like the World Wide Web, which you can access using the regular or standard web browser. So few things, it is restricted to a special browser protocol, network, and you need some sort of permission with the particular software to access it. It cannot be indexed by the standard search engine, so you need a specialized directory. You need to get into the dark web in the particular network to explore it. And large scale of illegal activity happening here, drugs, hitman, and just name it, and then you'll find all the illegal things, hacking softwares, and cryptography. Not only cryptography, but stolen credit cards. People are selling stolen credit cards, they are pornography and all these things. So large scale of illegal activity happening here. But as I said that, being an OSINT investigator, you have to access all. You need to understand how to access it, which obviously we will discuss in this course. Let's move further and let's see what other thing that we have to discuss. All right. So the generic steps to perform the OSINT. Obviously, so it's just the basic thing, but this is the step-by-step process that you should adopt. So at first you need to start with the what information you already have or you already know. For example, the email address, username, first name, last name, phone number, or etc. And then you need to define, you will be defining your requirement. What do you want to get? And now start gathering the data by using the OSINT tools and techniques, which we will discuss later on. And after collecting data, start analyzing it, pivot as needed using new gathered data, and then obviously validate your assumptions, as I discussed that OSINT V, or the validated OSINT with a high certainty of you need to validate the information. So at the end you just need to generate the report. uh, you just step by step thing that you can see, yeah, I need to do this. For example, you need few information to start the OSINT. For example, if you are searching for a person, then you should at least know basic attribute. For example, a name, a username, physical address, phone number, etc., etc., etc. So there is a OSINT framework, and apart from the OSINT framework, I would like to show you a OSINT mind map, which has been created by I don't remember the name, but let me show you, and then we'll see the name of the person who has created this amazing mind map. And apart from this mind map, there is a osintframework.com website, which let me show you. Okay, now there you can see this is OSINT framework. This is amazing framework. There you can see it's like a mind map, and if you have the username, then what you should do, which website or service you should use. Like, this is amazing. For example, if you have a email address as your starting point, then you can do all these things. So this is the osintframework.com, like pretty basic thing. And apart from this, I would like to show you the OSINT mind map as well, which is the same thing. But let's see. Okay, so this is the mind map that I was talking about. This is amazing job done by the Steve. So I mean, they have did I mean they have done an amazing job, and I will just quickly see what's in there. And once you start the OSINT, you need to see the OSINT pre-engagement. You need to define the goal of the assessment and the scope, and you need to see the ethical issues and all these things. I will share the URL of this mind map. You just need to download this software, and then you can access it. And I would like you to go through with you need to understand all these things, each and every information. So instead of going through everything, I'll just going to see the OSINT process. That is the core subject that I need to discuss. All right, so this is the OSINT process. Like this is real amazing thing here that you can see. It's like the OSINT framework. It's the mind map. So if you have an IP address, then you should do all these things. There you can see if you have the audio, the Tor hidden service, as I said, the darknet, the vehicle, the profile picture, video, image, and everything. So for example, if I just talk about the username, let's suppose I have the target username and on which I have to collect as much information as possible from the publicly available sources. This flow chart shows that from a single username, how will you access data related to that username. Simply typing username on the search engine also gathers, millions of information, and you can reach to its social media account. There are also some username search tools from where you can easily reach to its social media account. Social media platforms also let you know personal information like the real name, home address, age, gender, hobbies, check-ins, etc. That means reaching to the social media account is the final flag that reveals a lot of personal information. So you can guess the email, you can do the username enumeration, you can use a specific people search engine, and the social media as I discussed earlier or already. And then apart from the social media, if I just talk about the email address, which is similar to the username search, what you can do if you get an email address, you first need to cross check the email, yeah, whether it is exist or not. And similarly, you will after the validation whether this email is actually exist or not, and then I will check whether it was previously been hacked or not. So for this I will be using the have I been pawned website, which is an amazing. And this website contains the database of all the hacked websites and server, and then we will see if the email address appears in any breach or not. So I can just show you now, or maybe just not. Let's not do this. I will show you once I will get into this detailed discussion into this topic. And then obviously email, you can do the reverse email search. You can just paste it on the social media websites, try to find out the profile. You can just put it on the search engine to see what's coming over there. Anyway, similarly, so this is the mind map, and you just follow this and get the tool or the technique. For example, the business name, you will have to do all these things. So this is just amazing. Well, I will try my level best to cover most of them in this particular course, but if I and if I will not able to cover any, then you should obviously deep dive into it. And I will try to cover the topics that not listed here. For example, I don't see the aircraft OSINT, which I'm planning to discuss, and there are other things as well like the maritime OSINT as well, and all these things. So I'll try to cover everything. So I think this is it for this lecture. See you in the next.